Curriculum planning, implementation and evaluation. The role of special teachers of the visually impaired. Curriculum is a systematic and intended packaging of competencies, that is, knowledge, skills and attitudes. They are underpinned by values. Learners should acquire these values through organized learning experiences both in formal and informal settings. Good says curriculum plays an important role in lifelong learning competencies, social attitudes and skills such as tolerance and respect, peaceful conflict management, promotion and respect of human rights, gender equality and social justice. Besides, it also contributes to thinking skills, creativity and the acquisition of relevant knowledge that is applicable to their daily life and careers. It also supports the learners' personal development by enhancing their self-respect, confidence, motivation and aspirations. All these, the curriculum is implemented by teachers and depends on the quality of teaching and learning strategies, learning materials and assessment. Only those teachers who are trainees can play an effective role in defining and implementing the curriculum. This entails understanding and participating in the curriculum development process, taking on new roles as advisors, facilitators and curriculum developers. Role of teachers. Teachers cannot be taken for granted or viewed simply as skilled technicians who dutifully realize a given set of teaching in accordance with the directives of a distant authority. Teachers are supposed to be active participants in the creation of classroom realities, and they act in light of their own beliefs, attitudes and perception of the relevant teaching situation. Policy makers should no longer assume that curriculum implementation is a process that translates directly into classroom reality. Teachers are those who ultimately decide the fate of any educational enterprise. Consequently, teachers' attitudes, feelings and perceptions should not be devalued before the launching of any innovation. Policy makers should identify, analyze and address any discrepancies between teachers' opinion and ideas offered for curriculum innovation. Implementation is an interaction between those who have created the program and those who are charged to deliver it. Even though large sums of money are spent on implementing new curriculum, several of these efforts have failed. The main reason for the failure is a lack of understanding of the culture of the school by both experts and educators externally and internally. Successful implementation requires understanding the traditions, the roles and responsibilities of individuals in the school system. Curriculum planning. Curriculum planning helps to decide how and where to set priorities in the use of limited human and economic resources. Decide how to accomplish not only short range goals but also medium and long range goals. Build on the strong and successful parts of the program and as well as to identify and improve the weak parts to reach agreement in the school community about what to do and how to do it. Good planning process. Good planning process is organized thinking that helps in deciding what needs to be done, how it will happen and who will do it. Is a setting of priorities in the use of resources such as people, money, time and materials. It is trying to anticipate the future. It is adapting and modifying steps or processes until they work for one. It is using leadership to motivate people and to coordinate their activities. It is reflecting on what has been planned already and how it is working. It includes the periodic recording of planning decision for future reference. It should stimulate change and improvement. It should help one to figure out what will happen and how it should happen. It should raise awareness about what is being done and why. It should build a trail of activities over time so one can look at what has worked well and what has not. It should produce a blueprint, roadmap or recipe to be used. It should also decrease fear about the process of change and its result. Now, curriculum planning as a continuous process. Curriculum planning no doubt is a continuous process which involves activities categorized by interrelationships among individuals and groups as they work together in studying, planning, developing and improving the curriculum, which is a total environment planned by the school. Participants of curriculum planning. Participants of curriculum planning get involved in variety of activities such as discussing common problems, making decisions, developing a functional philosophy, studying learners and the environment, keeping up to date with the knowledge, studying ways to improve instructions, carrying research and evaluation. Importance of curriculum planning. Curriculum planning involves 4 steps to achieve. The most important 4 steps are plan purposefully, prepare systematically, proceed positively and pursue persistently. Unplanned teaching is waste of time. Curriculum planning develops well coordinated quality teaching, learning and assessment programs which build students' knowledge, skills and behaviors in their disciplines as well as their interdisciplinary and or physical, personal and social capacities. Curriculum planning also ensures shared vision, shared understandings and a common language in the school community, optimum coverage of all domains within the curriculum, continuity of learning between domains across year levels, the students are addressed. Students are given opportunities to develop deep understanding, cohesiveness in teaching, learning and assessment practices, elimination of repetition of learning activities without depth or breadth across levels, improved student learning outcomes. The curriculum is likely to be good one if there is good curriculum planning and conversely the curriculum is likely to be mediocre one if there is a mediocre curriculum planning. Role of curriculum professionals for curriculum implementation. By exploring approaches to encouraging discourse about curriculum philosophy, concepts, change and implications for education systems. Develop strategies for promoting new approaches to teaching and learning, information and communication technology, issues in school based training and teacher education and the whole school issues. Approaches to capacity building. It discusses needs for training in a framework of continuous capacity building. The capacity building of curriculum professionals as a request of reform, it analyzes the needs for technical training of curriculum specialists. The teacher involvement in capacity building. It helps in revising the different attitudes that can enable or block the capacity building processes. The curriculum professionals are guided into an analysis of the building blocks of curriculum at the macro level through 3 activities such as the structure of a curriculum framework, which includes the typical components of curriculum frameworks to be used as a structural analysis tool. Formulation of what students should know and be able to do, which helps the participant to revise and choose several alternatives to define the expected achievements of students and approaches to curriculum integration. Curriculum integration reviews existing strategies for curriculum integration with different focus and depth. Now, the various issues in curriculum planning. First one, lack of teacher participation in decision making and curriculum planning. The teacher has a crucial role to play in the success of any educational program in the nation, and as such should be in the center and take an active part in the planning and development of the curriculum. Lack of finance. Finance is the oil that lubricates the wheel of the curriculum development process. This process involves people working at different time for a long period. To organize workshops, seminars for teachers who are the facilitators of any curriculum development process requires funds. Lack of fund also hinders the completion of the pilot testing process before embarking on full scale implementation, and this process a challenge for the curriculum development as faults or weakness of the curriculum that would have been modified during the pilot testing stage are allowed to affect the entire system. The production of the curriculum materials for the implementation of the curriculum is also hampered by lack of funds. Third one, incomplete stages of curriculum development. The inability of the government to support the completion of all the stages of curriculum development is a major setback to curriculum development. Fourth one, lack of support by educational authorities. At times, those in government taking decision without consulting teachers, curriculum experts and evaluation experts with a view to improving standards in the form of existing knowledge, values, attitudes and skills. Fifth one, problems of definition. Curriculum development is faced with the problem of definition. Various schools of thought view curriculum in different ways. These schools of thought are divided into two, namely the traditionalists, which are made up of perennialists, the essentialists and the discipline doctrine advocates. The second one, the progressive. The traditionalists view the curriculum as a body of subjects planned for the students, while the progressive view curriculum as a sum total of all the planned and guided learning experience and individual encounters under the guidance of a school. Policy changes. Another factor that affects curriculum development is the frequent changes in educational policies. Knowledge explosion. Due to this development of science and technology, it becomes more tasking for the curriculum development process as knowledge becomes obsolete quickly, hence a need for constant review for the curriculum, the method and materials of instruction. Emergent health issues and peace issues respectively. Most curriculum development process do not occur until there are problems in educational system. People now become sensitized that the educational system is no longer meeting the needs of the individual and the society at large. Curriculum development requires time. It is difficult to develop curriculum document in a school district due to limited time available to the teachers. Now, levels of curriculum planning. The levels of curriculum planning has three phases. Phase 1, planning. The planning phase lays a foundation for all the curriculum development steps. The steps in this phase include identifying the issues, problem or need. The need for curriculum development usually emerges from a concern about a major issue or problem of one or more target audience. This section explores some of the questions that need to be addressed to define the issue and to develop a statement that will guide the selection of the members of a curriculum development team. The issue statement also serves to broadly identify the scope, that is, what will be included of the curriculum, content. Second one, form curriculum development team. Once the nature and scope of the issue has been broadly defined, the members of the curriculum development team can be selected. Topics covered in this section include 1. The roles and functions of team members. 2. A process of selecting members of the curriculum development team. And 3. Principles of collaboration and teamwork. The goal is to obtain expertise for the areas included in the scope of curriculum content among the team members and develop an effective team. Third one, conduct need assessment and analysis. There are two phases in the needs assessment process. The first is procedures for conducting a needs assessment. A number of techniques are aimed towards learning what is needed and by whom relative to the identified issue. Techniques covered in this section include KAP, which means knowledge, attitude and practice survey, which also includes focus groups and environmental scanning. Analysis, the second part of the needs assessment step, describes techniques on how to use the data and the results of the information gathered. The areas that are included are the ways to identify gaps between knowledge and practice, trends emerging from the data, a process to prioritize needs and identification of the characteristics of the target audience. The second phase involves content and methods. It determines intended outcomes. That means what learners will be able to do after participation in the curriculum activities, the content what will be taught and the methods how it will be taught. The steps which will include are the following. State intended outcomes. Once the issue is identified, the curriculum team is formed, the needs analyzed and prioritized. The next step is to refine and restate the issue, if needed, and develop the intended outcomes or educational outcomes. An intended outcome states what the learner will be able to do as a result of participating in the curriculum activities. It includes a definition of the intended outcomes, the components of the intended outcomes, and the example of the intended outcomes. The components of intended outcomes are condition, performance and standards. The last is an overview of the learning behaviors. Now, how to select content? The next challenge in the curriculum development process is selecting content that will make a real difference in the lives of the learner and ultimately society as a whole. At this point, the primary questions are: if the intended outcome is to be attained, what will the learner need to do? What knowledge, skills, attitudes and behaviors will need to be acquired and practiced? The scope, which involves breadth of knowledge, skills, attitudes and behaviors. The sequence, which includes the order of the content, are also discussed. Now, how to design experimental methods? After the content is selected, the next step is to design activities, which involves learning experiences. To design activities, we have to help the learner achieve appropriate intended outcomes. The third phase is implementation. Implementation involves producing curriculum product. Once the content and experiential methods have been agreed upon, the actual production of the curriculum materials begins. It includes suggestions for finding and evaluating existing materials, evaluation criteria, and suggestion for producing curriculum materials. Now, test and revise curriculum. It includes suggestions to select test sites and conduct a formulative evaluation of the curriculum materials during the production phase. Here, a sample evaluation form is also provided. Now, how to recruit and train facilitators? It is a waste of resources to develop curriculum materials if adequate training is not provided for facilitators to implement it. Suggestions for recruiting appropriate facilitators are provided with a sample 3-day training program. Now, how to implement curriculum? Effective implementation of newly developed curriculum products is unlikely to occur without planning. Strategies to promote and use a curriculum are also taken into account. Fourth phase involves evaluation and reporting. Here, we have to design evaluation strategies. Evaluation is a phase in the curriculum development model as well as a specific step. There are two types of evaluation, formative and summative, which are used during curriculum development. Now, formative evaluations are used during the needs assessment, product development and testing steps. Summative evaluations are undertaken to measure and report on the outcomes of the curriculum. It also reviews evaluation strategies and suggests simple procedures to provide valid and reliable information. A series of questions are posed to guide the summative evaluation process and a sample evaluation form is here suggested. Now, how to report and secure resources? The final element in an evaluation strategies is delivering the payoff, that is, getting the result into the hands of the people who can use them. Here, the suggestions for what and how to report to key shareholders, especially funding and policy decision makers, are provided and a brief discussion is done on how to secure resources for additional programming. Curriculum evaluation. Curriculum evaluation aims to examine the impact of implemented curriculum on the student and the learning achievement so that the official curriculum can be revised if necessary and to revive teaching and learning processes in the classroom. Curriculum evaluation is a necessary and important aspect of any national education system. It provides the basis for curriculum policy decisions, for feedback on continuous curriculum adjustments and process of curriculum implementation. The fundamental concerns of curriculum evaluation relate for effectiveness and efficiency of translating government education policy into educational practice. The status of the curriculum contents and practices in the context of global, national and local concerns and the achievement of the goals and the aims of educational programs. Curriculum evaluation establishes. It establishes specific strengths and weaknesses of a curriculum and its implementation. It also gives a critical information for strategic changes and policy decisions and the inputs needed for improved learning and teaching as well as indicators for monitoring. Curriculum evaluation may be an internal activity and process conducted by the various units within the education system for their own perspective purposes. These units may include national ministries of education, regional education authorities, institutional supervision and reporting systems, departments of education, schools and communities. Curriculum evaluation may also be external or commissioned review processes. These may be undertaken regularly by special committees or task forces on the curriculum, or they may be research based studies on the state and effectiveness of various aspects of the curriculum and its implementation. These processes might examine, for example, the effectiveness of curriculum content, existing pedagogies and instructional approaches, teacher training and textbooks, as well as instructional materials. Student assessment. The ultimate goal of curriculum evaluation is to ensure that the curriculum is effective in promoting improved quality of student learning. Student assessment therefore connotes assessment of student learning. Assessment of student learning has always been a powerful influence on how and what teachers teach, and is thus an important source of feedback on the appropriateness and implementation of curriculum content. Fulfilling the diverse objectives of diagnosis, certification and accountability requires different kinds of assessment instruments and strategies selected to achieve specific purposes. Assessment of student learning could be summative or formative, and there are various steps and types of tests to address different needs, such as standardized test, perform based test, ability test, aptitude test and intelligence test. Now, coming to the importance of teachers in implementation of the curriculum. Teachers or educators are the major pillars in the teaching and learning process. Without doubt, the important person in the practice curriculum is a teacher. With their knowledge, experience and competencies, teachers are central to any curriculum improvement effort. They are responsible for introducing the curriculum in the classroom and outside the curriculum as well. A teacher does more than just to implement curriculum. While curriculum specialists, administrators and outside education companies spend countless hours developing curriculum, it is the teachers who know best what the curriculum should look like. After all, they work directly with the students who are meant to benefit from the curriculum. In order to create strong curriculum, teachers must play a integrated role in every step of the process. Role of teachers in planning the curriculum. They should know their students better than others involved in the curriculum process. While the state often dictates skills covered by the curriculum, a teacher can provide insight into the type of materials, activities and specific skills that need to be included. Now, teachers from multiple grade levels may collaborate to identify skills that the students need at each level and ensure that the curriculum adequately prepares students to advance to the next grade level. Teachers' role in the creation of the curriculum. A teacher can find whether an activity will fit into a specified time frame and engage students. All teachers should be allowed to provide input during the creation stage. As teachers provide input, they will gain ownership in the product and feel more confident that the curriculum was created with their concerns and the needs of their students in mind. Now, implementation from the teacher. The teachers must implement the curriculum in their own classroom, sticking to the plan that has taken so much time. Careful planning and effort to create. When a teacher fails to properly implement a strong curriculum, he or she risks not covering standards or failing to implement effective practices in the classroom. That does not mean a teacher can't make minor changes. In fact, a strong curriculum is designed to allow a teacher to be flexible to add a few personalized components from a selection of activities. The reflections by the teacher. Reflection on a curriculum allows teachers and others involved in the process of finding any weaknesses in the curriculum and an attempt to make it better. It may reflect on the curriculum in multiple ways, such as keeping a journal as they implement the curriculum, giving student reviews and surveys, analyzing results and assessments, data about students' individual performance. Not only can reflection serve to improve a specific curriculum, it may guide the creation of a new curriculum. Now, what are the setbacks and shortcomings of involving teachers in the process of curriculum development? In the absence of adequate teacher training, teachers may rely on their prior beliefs and experiences in interpreting the new curriculum. This will contribute to the mismatch between what the curriculum aims to achieve and what actually happens inside the classroom. Teachers' prior beliefs and practices can pose challenges not only because teachers are unwilling to change in the direction of the policy, but also because their understandings may interfere with their ability to interpret and implement the reforms in ways consistent with the designer's intent. Professional development to enhance teachers' role in development and implementation of curriculum. It is a responsibility of teacher training and development programs to provide teachers with opportunities to redirect their beliefs and reflect upon their classroom practices so that maximum targeted professional development can be implemented. Without an appropriate focus on teachers, quality education is not feasible at all. The quality of teachers explains differences in learning outcomes. Proper recruitment and continuous professional development strategies must be in the place to endow those entrusted with teaching with the required knowledge, skills, attitudes and values to retain them in the profession. The key to getting teachers committed to an innovation is to enhance their knowledge of the program. This means teachers need to be trained through workshops organized for professional development. However, not all teachers will have the benefit of such exposure due to insufficient funds. A successfully implemented curriculum can be ensured only through teacher education program with curriculum development as a major subject. The points to be addressed in designing professional development. Opportunities for the teachers who are implementing as new program. The first one is program philosophy. It is important for teachers to understand the philosophy behind the program and how it may impact students, parents, administrators and stakeholders. Second, content. Teachers may find the curriculum introduces unfamiliar content they have not taught in a while. Example, using a problem solving approach rather than a topical approach. Third one, resources. Adequate resources should be available for implementing a new curriculum. Fourth one, time. Teachers should be allowed enough time to prepare and deliver the new requirements of the new curriculum and take time to understand the subject. Fifth one, school ethos. The overall belief of the school in the new curriculum. For example, the faculty and community recognizes the importance of subject in the school curriculum. Sixth one, professional support. Opportunities for professional development such as workshop, seminars, best teacher awards. Seventh one, professional adequacy and interest. Teachers' own interest, ability and competence to teach the curriculum, there is confidence in teaching, attitudes and freeness to teach the subject. To end, we have looked into the various curriculum planning processes, its implementation and the role of teachers. Thank you.